Hello everyone, Ron and David here, coming to you from our website, astrologynewsreport.com.
Now we look at the upcoming planetary patterns and predictions, what's in store in the heavens, for June 1st to June 8th and beyond.
The main event this week is Mercury entering a retrograde period, which begins on Saturday, June 7th. Mercury begins its retrograde period this time at 9 degrees Gemini.
Mercury's retrograde period will continue for 3 weeks, actually 24 days, until June 30th. Mercury will back up in the zodiac from 9 degrees to 0 degrees in Gemini.
So let's go over some of what typically happens during Mercury retrograde periods. Mercury is the planet of communications. When it is moving backwards in the zodiac, communications get screwed up more than usual. This can be as simple as delays in communication, like someone not returning your phone call, to outright misinterpretations, misunderstandings, and all the mistakes and frustration that goes along with that.
Mercury is the planet of equipment. Thus, during Mercury retrograde periods, we can expect equipment malfunctions more often. Since Mercury is communications, it is often communications equipment that stops working. Computers, smartphones, the TV, etc.
Mercury is the planet of business transactions. That includes making a bank deposit, making a purchase, getting change from the cashier. All of these actions must be watched carefully when Mercury is retrograde.
Mercury is called the planet of signatures. Signing papers, such as signing a contract, is how we initiate an important project. Anything important that is begun while Mercury is retrograde will forever have Mercury retrograde in its birth chart and be plagued with delays and misunderstandings. Therefore, it is best to postpone beginning important projects or signing contracts until Mercury retrograde is over.
But it's not all bad. There are some actions that are appropriate during Mercury retrograde periods. Since Mercury is business, when it is retrograde, it's a good time to be going back over and dealing with past business, such as paying past bills.
Mercury is the planet of writing, and going backwards in the heavens indicates going back over your writing. That is to say, it is a good time to edit and revise a report or a manuscript.
Mercury retrograde periods are also good for getting back in touch with someone, responding to a past communication, and making that phone call or writing that letter that you have been putting off.
And now we will discuss what area of life Mercury retrograde effects are likely to manifest for you, according to the rising sign in your Vedic astrological birth chart.
For Aries rising people, the Mercury retrograde in Gemini ends up in the third house. One of the significations of the third house is written communications. Therefore, you need to be careful of anything written, such as emails, before sending them out. Everyday actions are a third house signification, so be careful in your daily travels.
If you are a Taurus rising, Mercury goes backward in your second house of money. Double check all receipts and pay attention when giving or getting change. Pause before writing checks. A piece of mail containing a check for you may get delayed. This is a good time to make good an old debt. Be sure not to lose track of any of your monthly bills. The second house is also the mouth, so be careful of what comes out of it. The potential for being misunderstood is very high.
Gemini rising folks will get a personal experience of Mercury traveling in reverse. Your first house of self is affected, indicating interactions with other people will be much more prone to be muddled or confused. Conversations can end up in useless circles and not get anywhere. Extra explanations may just add annoyance. Your mind can get a bit foggy at times, and other people may seem incoherent or vague. Best to proceed carefully in all areas.
Cancers get Mercury retrograde in their 12th house of loss, expense, generosity, and the unknown. Careful when dealing with strangers. Do not get conned. Do extra homework before giving to a good cause. Use caution if you feel the urge to spend money on something on a whim. buyer's remorse is indicated here.
Leos have things playing out in their 11th house of friends, gains, and associations. Loaning money to a friend may be unwise, or at least you can anticipate it to take longer than expected to get paid back. Profits are delayed or turn out to be not as good as hoped. On the flip side, this is a good time to seek out old contacts, or they may contact you, and this could bear fruit at a later time.
Virgo rising people need to take special note here, because with Mars going through your first house, you are likely to be a bit testy, and it will not be a good time to get snippy at work while Mercury goes backwards in your 10th house of career. Getting pissed at the boss is not a good idea, but when the planet of communications is retrograde, things could get worse. The same can be said of your actions out in public, since that's a 10th house affair as well. Getting miffed at some authority figure, even if you are sure they are a doofus, still probably not a good idea.
All right. Libras will have Mercury in reverse in the 9th house of law, morals, beliefs, as well as father and the teacher. You may want to revisit or review long-held beliefs. Your dad, or a guru or teacher figure in your life, may misunderstand you, or you them. It is a good time to reflect on long-held ideas. Take stock of your morals, ethical stances, and philosophies.
Scorpio rising people, somewhat ironically, get to have Mercury going backwards in their 8th house, since Scorpio is the natural 8th sign of the zodiac. Avoid taking out life insurance or signing financial contracts until Mercury returns to full forward motion.
Sagittarius folks must contend with Mercury retrograde in their 7th house of the spouse or business partner. You may be having to work overtime in communicating to these important people in your life. Relationships in general will not be as clear as you'd like. Be patient. Although issues that have been avoided may be ripe for addressing during this time period.
Capricorns will have Mercury in the 6th house of employees, co-workers, health, debts, and lawsuits. This is problematic for you should you need good information from someone who works for you or with you. Getting advice from a lawyer or doctor, you may not get the clarity you need from them. Remember, the 6th house is also strategy and tactics. Keep an eye on your debit cards and credit cards. Mistakes are a strong possibility.
People under the sign of Aquarius will have Mercury going retrograde in the 5th house of romance, children, and speculation. Use caution while reviewing any investments. The stock market is tricky business when the planet of business is going backwards. Financial advice is suspect. Communication with children is more confusing than usual. When the planet of discernment gets foggy, mental frustration is par for the course. Romance is an affair of the heart, and Mercury is thinking in the head. Need we say more?
Pisces rising individuals have Mercury transiting in the 4th house of mother, home, vehicles, and deep-seated feelings. A retrograde Mercury should be a red light for you. Do not try to sell or buy a house or car at this time. You do not want the birth chart for a new car or a home to have a backwards Mercury. Careful of communications on the home front, but do have your mom tell you some stories from your childhood. You may gain new insight about her, or you may come to understand something out of your past.
All right. Moving away from Mercury retrograde for a bit, the ongoing pattern of Mars opposite Uranus continues this week. Now that Mars has returned to normal forward motion in the zodiac, it is again approaching a powerful mutual interaction with Uranus. Today, June 1st, Mars is 5 degrees from exact opposition with the planet of rebellion. Next week, June 8th, Mars will be 4 degrees from exact opposition. And finally, on June 25th, the two planets will be exactly opposite to one another.
Oh, so ratcheting things up for the next several weeks, we can look forward to a continuing menu of sudden violent events, rebellions, conflicts, and destruction both from the hand of man and courtesy of Mother Nature.
Also, anyone with planets or important points in their birth chart in Virgo or Pisces should be extra careful of having a personal manifestation of this volatile pattern.
Like threatening to leave home, get a divorce, take out your boss, lose it on the freeway. If you feel it coming, slow down.
Good examples, David, so we can all be ready for more violent and disturbing news events across the planet.
Yes, sorry to say, folks, but in any case, thanks for visiting astrologynewsreport.com. Now on to segment 3 of this week's show.